It is interesting to examine Mao's strategical and tactical theories in the light of his principle, unity of opposites. Okay, so Mao had this principle, unity of opposites. This might seem a little bit familiar if you've read the book, if you've read our book, The Dichotomy of Leadership, right? There are opposites. So here's Mao's principle called unity of opposites. Back to the book, this seems to be an adaptation to military action of the ancient Chinese philosophical concept of yin-yang. Briefly, the yin and yang are elemental and pervasive. Of opposite polarities, they represent male and female, dark and light, cold and heat, recession and aggression. Their reciprocal interaction is endless. So again, people have said, hey, now I know a new word, dichotomy. That's what this is. Mm-hmm. It's dichotomy. It's opposing forces. And now this just gets even more aligned. An important postulate of the yin-yang theory is that concealed within strength, there is weakness, and within weakness, strength. It is a weakness of guerrillas that they operate in small groups that can be wiped out in a matter of minutes. But because they do operate in small groups, they can move rapidly and secretly into the vulnerable rear of the enemy. In conventional tactics, dispersion of forces invites destruction. In guerrilla war, this very tactic is desirable both to confuse the enemy and to preserve the illusion that the guerrillas are ubiquitous. It is often a disadvantage not to have heavy infantry and heavy infantry weapons available. But the very fact of having to transport them has until recently tied conventional columns to roads and well-used tracks. The guerrilla travels light and travels fast. He turns the hazard of terrain into his advantage and makes an ally of tropical rains, heavy snow, intense heat, and freezing cold. Long night marches are difficult and dangerous, but the darkness shields his approach to an unsuspecting enemy. In every apparent disadvantage, some advantage is to be found. In other words, good. The converse is equally true. In each apparent advantage lie the seeds of disadvantage. The yin is not wholly yin, nor the yang wholly yang. It is only the wise general, said the ancient Chinese military philosopher Sun Tzu, who is able to recognize this fact and turn it to a good account. Guerrilla tactical doctrine may be summarized in 4 Chinese characters, which mean uproar in the east, strike in the west. Here we find expressed the all-important principles of distraction on the one hand and concentration on the other, to fix the enemy's attention and to strike where and when he least anticipates the blow. Guerrillas are masters of the arts of simulation and dissimulation. They create pretenses and simultaneously disguise or conceal their true semblance. Their tactical concepts, dynamic and flexible, are not cut to any particular pattern. But Mao's first law of war, to preserve oneself and destroy the enemy, is always governing. Yeah, it's just amazing the amount of similarities. And I guess at some point in my life, I'm going to stop being amazed that on the fact that the basic principles of war and the basic principles of life, they've been around for thousands and thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, we just have to relearn them. Yeah. You know, I wrote The Dichotomy of Leadership, or thought The Dichotomy of Leadership. I didn't think about yin and yang. I should have if I paid more attention.
Yeah. Well, in a way, you did think of yin and yang. You just didn't call it yin and yang.
But I'm saying that didn't spark my thoughts. It's a lesson that I learned. It wasn't taught to me.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Which is sad. I could have,
In a way.
like you've been saying, if I had read more and thought more, maybe I'd have figured it out earlier.